ahead.
Sorry, go on. Go on.
So we're just waiting on Her Excellency, and then looking forward to a conversation with you as well. This is great. Where are you coming in from?
London, the UK.
Great.
Yeah, so it's great. So does it go straight to the WEF platform now? Are we live on the platform?
It's already streaming. Yes, it's already
okay,
streaming.
Great.
Yeah.
And are you based in Bangalore as well?
No, in New Delhi.
Okay. Oh, lovely.
Yes. Have you been here? Have you been to India?
Yeah, I spoke at the WEF conference in Delhi a few years back, maybe 2016.
Really? I'm surprised we haven't met before.
Yeah.
Maybe we did briefly.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, wonderful. So it's great to welcome you back then. You're part of the sisterhood.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be back. It's really good to be back.
We're going to be joined in a few minutes. I don't know if she might already be here. We have Her Excellency, the former president of Ecuador.
Yeah, I feel pretty humbled to be on this call.
Yeah, this is so, imagine London, New Delhi, Ecuador, all coming together right from our homes.
It's a global leadership. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. But what's magnificent is the technology aspect of it. Like we traveled, but we traveled not very far, just through cyberways.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the blessing of technology, isn't it? We're really lucky. Like 10, 15 years ago, we may not be in this position. So
yeah, and that's how I think that a lot of the things are going to change for the better, because we might leave a cleaner, more beautiful planet behind.
Yeah, sure.
So
I hope so.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to check with the team if Her Excellency is already here.
Okay, great. I mean, I did admittedly get the time wrong. So I've told my guests, I said because it's 4:10 here. So I said to my guests to come at 20 to 5, but that's wrong. So I told them now that I got the time difference. So it might be Rosalia's done the same. I don't know what the difference between here and Ecuador is, but.
Oh, okay. With the time shift.
Hi, can you hear me now? I can't hear you. I think you're muted, Manzi.
Now you can hear me?
I can hear you, Rosalia.
Hello, how are you?
Wonderful.
Hi.
Warm welcome to you, Her Excellency.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be with you. I have my Indian attire for this session only.
You look beautiful. Oh, we lost you.
Yeah, now it is.
Perfect. Yeah, that is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Such a privilege to have you with us, Her Excellency. Thank you for taking out the time in your schedule.
Yeah, no problem. This week is a little complicated for me, and I can join all these sessions because we have a school for leaders, and it is 1 week each month, and this is the week. Unfortunately, it's a coincidence. Then we have classes in Ecuador, in hour of Ecuador, from 6 to 9 at night every day, and Saturday and Monday from 8:30 to 12:30. Then it's, but someone is replacing me there, no problem.
Okay, wow, but thank you for, I mean, it's just, you know, I'm sure that it's always busy for you, but this week especially so. Really appreciate, and I want to thank you on behalf of all of us here, all the sisters worldwide.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm so happy to share with you and to learn from you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot, because we know you represent a politician like no other. You're an Ecuadorian like no other. I would love to take a moment to introduce you to our audiences who will have plugged in from almost 50 different countries. Over
How many people is participating at the summit?
So we have 400 speakers.
And like people attending, speakers, I don't know how many speakers?
400.
400, and the other people that they are not speakers?
So I think, I'm thinking that it might be over 1,000. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, yes, I share the link with some people here, including my daughter is in another room, connected, yes, trying to connect herself, because sometimes it's not so easy. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what Hanili and I were speaking about. This is, you know, we don't have to travel.
And Hanili is from where?
From London.
Hi, nice to meet you, Rosalia. I'm from London.
London. Oh, good, good. And you are right now in London.
Yeah, I'm right now in London. I've got my family also logged in too, in different parts of the house and also different parts of London.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and with this quarantine everywhere. The last time that I traveled was in March to Mexico. And when I came back, I had to be in quarantine for some days, because one person that was attending the meeting that was organized by a man from India, Rahendra Pachauri, that unfortunately passed away, but before the meeting, and it was a hard problem. But after that, gracias. And after that, it was a person that was attending the meeting that had coronavirus, and he unfortunately died. Then I said, with my parents that they are really old and other people, I came here and came and stuck in my home for a month without anybody coming here. Then I had to learn how to cook, how to do things that I usually don't do. Well, but now it's still, because we had a bad time in Quito with a lot of people that's in hospitals and unfortunately dying. I think in India it's also really bad moments these days.
Yeah, numbers
and in London also, no?
Yeah, London as well, but I think they're faring better now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it got disconnected. Yeah, in London, I think it was 44,000 we lost. I'd have to double check, I think. Wow. Then I think I read an article yesterday, 300,000 people had it. I mean, we've just started, restrictions obviously have been slightly easing, and people are now out in public more, still having to keep the distance. Shops, it became compulsory from Friday just gone that we have to wear the face mask in stores. Outside of that,
we have to use masks every moment outside the homes all the time.
Okay. Well, for us, it's only compulsory in a store unless you have respiratory difficulties or something like that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's get on with it. This is absolutely, I want to take an opportunity here, Her Excellency, to introduce you and your inspiring body of work. I think we all know that you've served as Ecuador's first female head of state, as president, first woman to also have held the position of a vice president in the Republic of Ecuador. You also served as the Deputy Minister of Culture and Minister of Education, a former Secretary General of the Organization of the Amazon Cooperation Treaty. You are a lawyer, a Juris Doctor, and a journalist and an anthropologist as well by education, donning multiple hats. And you are obviously a celebrated recipient of multiple prestigious international awards, honorariums, and citizenships. I was reading your bio, I was like, wow, we'll need 1 hour for me to read all of these. And you're also a part of a global think tank composed of current and former presidents and prime ministers that is shaping our world in this post-pandemic environment. So something very relevant. And you're also a author. You published 14 books, poetic prose and poetry. So there is not much you haven't dabbled in. You've been in public life for multiple decades, and it's an absolute honor to welcome you on behalf of the All Ladies League at the very first Global Digital Summit edition of the Women Economic Forum. So we've done 35 editions already, which have been physical. like to call them physical. So they were physical and digital, but this is purely digital summit. And it's so wonderful that you've been able to take time out in your busy schedule and inspire us with your keynote address today. I'd love for our audiences to hear from you, to learn from you. As you said so beautifully, that we're here for this exchange of ideas and really to teach and learn in equal proportion. Her Excellency Rosalia, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Hi to everybody. Here it is morning in Ecuador. I know that it's evening in India and in London, probably in the afternoon. I'm happy to be here and to participate with you in this Women Economic Forum. Thanks to Arvin Arora, the leader of this forum, and also to Lakshmi that invited me to participate in this special session that I'm looking very forward, because I believe in the strongest values of women and how we can be key in the solutions after coronavirus, after this COVID-19 that is changing our lives. When we see what's happening in different countries with head of states, the countries where head of states are women, they are doing much better than the other. Then I am absolutely sure that we can provide a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge, and also a lot of feelings to this situation. I know that we have to talk about how to reconnect, how reboot, how reset, how energize, re-energize enterprise in the world. We have to start to recognize that situation for women has not been easy. And probably in these days, I feel that it's much harder for women. I can see in my own country, in Ecuador, because students can't go to the schools. The small kids and the teenagers cannot go to presential school. They have to be at home to have online or education by TV or even by radio in some distant parts. And in many cases, that now the economy is trying to recover the how to go to public offices or to private offices. Many women are with the challenge sometimes to choose between stay with the kids at home to guide them to do the homeworks or to attend the classes, to connect to the classes, especially when they are small kids that have to attend online classes, or to go to work. And that's a big challenge. How we can help that women to participate, to continue being in labor issues, in trying to do things, or in political issues, or in companies, or in private enterprises, at the same time to take care of the kids. The distribution of work at home, it's still with the heavy force in women, in the shoulders of women, not the men. The men doesn't assume all the work that women are doing at home. The other thing that because I had been a teacher for a long time, the other thing that is moving me is what's happening with the kids, that they have to leave school because they don't have the economy to go to, the parents lose the jobs. I am afraid that the women are going to be less in schools than in the past. Then the big space between education of male and female is going to increase. UNESCO says that we probably are going to be back 10 years in the educational field, and probably for women it's going to be worse. Then I feel that some ideas that to create, for example, a marketplace to put the products and services of women that from home can be in an economic possibility to offer the services or offer the products that are making at home. It's a great idea that we talk about that with Arbin and trying to help women to connect to this big platform. And I know that there are other initiatives in other parts of the world, like Portugal or others, trying to connect and reconnect women with production. How we can be keys in this post-COVID era, how we can connect between women. The other thing that in the past we doesn't have is the big network. And World Economic Forum provides a big network, and other forums also. How we can exchange experiences, how we can do this and that. In political arena, the networks had been very, very little for women. The men had the possibility to connect with between them in many forums. In the past, no, because women doesn't arrive to be heads of states, for example. But now it is changing also. And the possibility to exchange experiences, to advise, to mentorize. I think other issue that has to be more stronger during this post-COVID-19 era is how women can be, or how we can be mentor of other women, how we can help with advices in particular situations, like how start a business, how to start or to be an entrepreneur, how not to desist, because sometimes people say, no, I'm wrong, I'm not having a success. You cannot have success immediately. And especially in Latin American world, we need to know that it's not a failure to have not success at the first attempt, that we need to continue trying and doing things and maybe changing some approach, some ideas to have a success. Then I feel that women of my age or maybe other women can be good mentors in this time. I used to say that probably now we have more time because we are more at home. In my case, since March, I haven't been traveling like I used to be in several parts of the world, like Egypt or Azerbaijan or Europe or other countries. But now I am more here, and I feel that I am not losing the track. I am helping more and more and more people from different parts of the world. I'm talking with the students, I'm talking with teachers, I'm talking with housewives, I am talking with people that want to read or to talk about different things. And I have the possibility to talk with lots and lots of young women and young men also. And probably I didn't do that in the past because now I am more like stuck in my home and I have the time to do that. Then how we can use all these possibilities, but it's my case because I know that it's around the world. We have a lot of cases, a lot of situations where we can provide some expertise, some advices, some ideas also. these days, and I was talking to that, we have a school for leaders. More of them are women, and they have to produce some projects. They have to do it in company. Some of them have to join efforts and to give us some ideas about how to work after COVID, how to do it without putting in risk families and their own persons and the society. And I think it will be the way that we can reconnect. The other issue that I want to emphasize is about environmental issues. I was at the beginning a little excited about it's not pollution. We are at home. I can see clear skies. Quito has beautiful blue skies. And in the last few years, we feel that these blue skies, it was not easy to see. And I saw that it happens in Kolkata or in Delhi or in Bangalore. You cannot see the sky because sometimes it's impossible with the smoke. And I say, okay, this provides us an opportunity to do better things about the environment. But after I feel that with all these masks, the globes that are going to the oceans, we are not making our best, then how women can be more sensitive about what's happening with Mother Earth, how we can reconnect with the world in a better way, not the way that we get used to it with all this garbage, with all this pollution, without the feeling that we are one with the environment. If we don't pay attention about what's surrounding us and the big planet, because we are in a planet that is also our home, how we can do it, how we can impact, for example, doing things here on the Andean region, because we are now in the Andes, how we impact on the Amazon forest, how the Amazon forest, if they cut the forest, how it's impacting in other places. I was reading some days ago that the sands of the Sahara are coming to Central America, and the sands are fertilizing the land of South America and Central America. And it is such a fantastic issue because it refers to the connection between one side of the world with the other side of the world. I know for sure, because I study about that, if we cut the forest in the Amazon jungle, that is the biggest jungle that you can see from the sky. The astronauts can see this big green place that is the Amazon. But if we cut the forest, we are causing a problem with that for us. But also probably half of United States can be a desert. The impact goes to India and to Korea. Then the impact and the interrelation between different parts of the world is such an important that we cannot avoid to think about that when we are talking about business, about how to improve quality of life for women, for kids. We have to reconnect also with the land. We have to reconnect with the environment. That is such an important thing that I want to put on the table, talking especially to women that they are like you are in economic efforts. Of course, we have to have better income for people. We have to create probably a salary for everybody in the world. That's an idea that's going around, how to create a salary for each kid that was born, how we can be more, how we can create a more equitable, ethic world. But it's important to do, and we have to think on economic situation. But if we don't take care of environment, we are going to be back on the old times that cannot continue, because if no, it's not going to be sustainable to live in this world. Those are some ideas that I want to share with you about the importance of women, networking of women, environmental issues, how we can provide platform for women, how we can help women to deal with home issues and labor issues and work issues, how we can mentoring the ones that have more experience with the others, some of these ideas I want to share, and I hope you find some of them useful. Someone was asking about my address, maybe to contact with me. I'm going to write my mail address, and maybe you can share with other people that are watching this session from on internet or Facebook or whatever. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency. Thank you. The generosity of your spirit it's apparent. With with the open heart that you do your work, and also that you've really given us a glance on how you spend your time, especially in the past few months when when life came into a standstill. For you, exactly the opposite happened. You became busier than ever before, and you were able to create that. I really liked how you explained how you were able to draw into that continuity of your work, with that travels, that continuity would break, and you were really able to focus and on the, zone in on the problems that are close to your heart. Like, you're so passionate about your work with women, you also like the concept you brought about, so passionate about working with humanity, and that idea about the salary for everyone in the world. That's profound. Those are ideas we really need to stick with going forward, for us to thrive in a environment where we don't know how to even stay afloat at the moment. Your passion for environment. So it was a peep into your spirit, the woman that you are. Thank you for opening up your heart and soul to us, Her Excellency Rosalia, for the woman that you are and for the leader that you are. Please allow me to offer you a small gratitude of our affection and love. We'd like to present to you an award. It's a virtual award, very special because it's the first time we're offering a virtual award. So we'd like to acknowledge you as a woman of the decade in public life and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to bring your hearts together and your hands together in honor of Her Excellency and the embodiment of womanhood and leadership that she is. Thank you so much for your generous sharing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Yes.
Wonderful. You've touched our hearts. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. That was absolutely insightful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to write my address on my email address.
Sharing your email address so we can access you. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Then it will be nice to share some ideas, because someone was Hamili,
Rosalia, Rosalia, that was my.
I didn't see the name. I only saw. So, but I will put my email.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
I'm happy to share, of course.
Thank you. So Rosalia, I just wanted to say thank you. I wasn't sure if you were sticking around or running off, but I just really wanted to say thank you. And actually a lot of what you talked about, I'm covering in my talk. I say a lot of some of the things, and the importance of role models and mentors, because some of the things I'm covering, the thing that I'm covering in my talk is a bit about my story and how mentoring and role models have helped me in my life, and the importance of them, men and women, to be honest. And so I really, I also found it really beautiful as well, the synchronicity that you're also a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, young, new lawyer, and we're here on this platform sharing. So thank you so much.
Excellent, and all the success, Hamili. You have a beautiful name, and I believe that the ideas and the dreams that you have when you are young, you have to do a lot to reach what you dream. But you can. I always say that life has been so generous with me that life gives me more than I asked. Imagine that. I never dreamed to be in politics. I had never dreamed. I was always dreaming to be a writer or a teacher, but never in politics. But life gave me the opportunity, and I take the opportunity. And of course, I work for it, because nothing is like for free. But if you you are open mind to have all this. And women, we are multitasking, and it is a big, big advantage that we have. I didn't say that on the forum, on the public one, but I always talk about multitasking, and we have to take the advantage of that, because men, they can only do one thing, and they are totally focused on that. And we can do this and that when we have surrounding a noisy world, and we can do the things as good as they can do. And this is fantastic. We have to use it. It's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful, because that's what I always say, that a woman's mind is like, it's like a tropical jungle, you know, so it's like an Amazonian forest. And a man's could be like a desert. It's not, it's a little barren. Women's is thriving with ideas.
No, but it is fantastic. It is fantastic, Nancy. We used to have in my own land, because I am of the south part of Ecuador, we cook a lot of corn. And we have big corn, not the small corn, because corn is originally from here. And we have big white corn, and we used to eat it like bread in the center of the table. And people put it with the soup and put with everything, like bread or whatever. Well, the name is mote, no, in Spanish. Well, when it is on the fire and it is making a lot of bubbles, sometimes I say, my head is like a mote, yeah, going on, because I have such many ideas. Sometimes when I want to read, to write stories for kids. Nowadays, I'm writing some stories, and I am trying to put online also a book with women's stories in the time of COVID. It is with a Spanish editorial. And it is there are such many ideas. Say, my God, my brain is like going like this. And it happens with everybody for sure.
I'm going to remember that one. That's a wonderful analogy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is the end of this. Or I can hear more other panelists.
Feel free to stay, or because we're going to have a presentation with Hanny Lee now for 30 minutes. So it's your option if you have.
It's more like 15.
I have to connect to other. I have to connect to other side, or I stay here.
You can stay here if you like. Absolutely, more than well. We'd love
to happen here. What's going to happen here?
So Hanny Lee is going to give us a presentation on role.
Okay, I will hear Hanny Lee. Okay. I will put this only and then.
You can, yes, perfect.
Like this.
Oh, wow.
This is we have the most magnificent audiences for you today.
I feel so humbled.
Great. No, but it's no accident, I believe so.
Yeah, same.
So welcoming you, Hanny Lee Fish, the founder of ICANN Health and a mindful lawyer. Looking forward to you unraveling for us what it means for you enshrining powerful role models, because obviously this is a story about the role models that helped you shape who you are today, help shape the Hanny Lee that we meet today. So we are looking forward to hearing your journey. Over to you, Hanny Lee, coming from London.
Thank you. Yes, I'm coming from London. It's what a blessing to follow Rosalia, especially when she's been talking about role models and mentors. And so basically what I'm going to share a bit is about my story and how, how role models have had an impact on my life, and how sort of three qualities, I suppose, that I see in role models that I want to embody within myself. And I suppose the first question that I have, if I think about myself as a role model or what I see in others, I ask myself this question. At my funeral, well, I suppose you can ask yourself this question. At your funeral, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want on your tombstone? Because I know for me, I want people to be saying, Hanny Lee empowered me to empower myself. And so one might say, why is that important? The reason why it's important is because it's the embodiment of a role model. Because I wouldn't have been where I am today if it wasn't for the people that empowered me and the legacy that they left in my life and still implementing in my life. And as leaders, we need role models to help us shape the future. So as I said, I'm just going to share a bit about my story as a role model and how I've overcome to get where I am today, and then just a few factors that I would like to share and that I find important in role models. So right now, as you said, Andy, I'm a tax litigator by day. I'm also founder of ICANN Health. And the reason why I say I'm a mindful lawyer is because I like to mix the two and bring my mindfulness and well-being to my legal practice. Now, I did have a speech prepared on tax law because that's what I thought I was going to be covering. But luckily for you guys listening and for you both, I'm not going to talk about tax law because that might bore you.
It would have been interesting, I'm sure of it, coming back.
I mean, there is a lot of interesting things about tax, but that's definitely a story, a talk for another day. So my story, quite simple, really. I came from humble beginnings. Actually, it's not that simple, but I came from humble beginnings, certainly by English standards. We didn't have much money. At times, there was no electricity and there's certainly scarcity for food. I remember fighting with my brothers over who had the last piece of fruit. So basically, I did grow up in poverty. My parents were mentally unwell, which unfortunately, wasn't their fault. It's just come from their upbringing. It meant that affected my upbringing. So I did grow up not feeling good enough. I didn't feel worthy. I would look around at other people wishing I had their life. I really genuinely thought there was something desperately wrong with me. And I realized the point of my shame, and probably the worst point in when I realized how poor we were, was when I was at school and I would go around the canteen, and I was quite often hungry before registration at school, and I'd go around to my friends and people I didn't know, asking them to borrow 5p to 20p, knowing full well that I wasn't going to pay it back. I mean, I don't know what that is in rupees or in Ecuadorian money, but I can tell you it's not very much. I would then make enough money to feed myself for breakfast and lunch. And I would just do this pretty much throughout the week. And, even as I share it now, I still feel a bit of shame, and I feel really sad about that, because whilst on some level it's quite entrepreneurial, that wasn't what it felt like for me. It felt like a lot of shame. In terms of my education, I was the naughty child. I couldn't pay attention in class. I'm quite surprised that my teachers hadn't recognised that my home life was affecting my schoolwork. And then when I was given studies and reading, I couldn't really understand it. And then at the age of 16 years old, I wrote as if I was 9 years old. At 16, I had an experience that I thought was actually probably the worst thing that could happen in my life to me. I had a very, very close relationship with my mum. She meant everything to me, as every mum does. I felt very responsible for my mum, obviously because she had mental health issues. I was particularly overly responsible, and I had this experience that when she wasn't feeling okay, then I wasn't feeling okay. I went to bed one evening, and at about 3 a.m. something woke me up. I went downstairs to see my mum sitting at the computer, typing, typing away. Didn't know what she was doing, very concerned about the fact that she wasn't coming to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, Mum, come to bed. What are you doing? You're not looking after yourself. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And she said, go up, Han, and I'll be up in a bit. And as I walked away to go up the stairs, she just said, Han, she called me, and I said, yeah. And she said, I love you. And I just thought it was really strange, because it's not the kind of thing that she has said, or she has told me she loved me, but just not in that way. So I went to bed feeling it strange. And then suddenly, about 20 minutes later, I heard the sound of a pill packet. You know, when you open a ibuprofen or paracetamol or pill, you can hear that metal sound. And my mum, I heard a thud downstairs. I heard the door knock, and I ran downstairs. And my mum was lying there on the floor. I couldn't believe it. I was crying. The ambulance was in. I went to the computer to see what she was doing. She'd written a pros and cons list of why she should live or why she should die. And the only thing that she had on her list was that for living was her children. And I went to her and I looked at her, and I was just flooding in floods of tears, a bit panicked. And then I just got my right hand and went like this and said, you just need to focus. Cut the story short, me and my brothers ran the bed looking at her, wondering whether she's going to live or die. And that was such a point for me where, one, I built a spiritual relationship because something woke me up that night, but it became a poignant time for me to look at the women in my life and the role models in my life. And I wanted to do things. I wanted to do things differently from that point and use that experience to help me. So it definitely became a turning point. After that, I got into university, found it very difficult academic. As I've already said, I wasn't able to focus. It transpired that I had dyslexia, but feeling very passionate about the experience that had happened. I wanted to be a role model to young women. And because I played professional soccer, semi-professional soccer, I wanted to give back. So I started the first Somalian female football team in Leicester, where it's a place in England. And it was really something that I was passionate about, that I could give back to these young women that maybe didn't have the role model that they needed. And then from there, I got more passionate about being a role model and mentoring, that I started to mentor children who perhaps had overcome difficult childhoods, who'd perhaps been in the same situation as myself. And I don't know about hearing what Rosalia's saying for me, but I thought that was my first taste of what it felt like to, when you give back and what you get when you give. It's incredible. And then just from university, went and got jobs in places that I never thought I dreamed of, because somebody else believed in me and they became my mentor and role model, and they got me into that. I went to play soccer in the USA, played in the Ladies Premier League. All these things happened because of having role models in my life that helped me to stand up. Then in 2011, I was supporting my mother in a very lengthy claim in a court here in the UK, in the High Court here in the UK, which that bit was fine. But I got to the point where I was just so overwhelmed from helping my mum, mentoring, working, playing soccer, football, being a radio host, that I needed to seek help for myself. And I'd say this is the other poignant time in my life where I lent into somebody else. But it's a poignant time in my life that was probably, again, one of the most harrowing times in my life. Because I was feeling a lot of anxiety, having limiting beliefs, and feeling very overwhelmed and stressed from doing all those things, doing the trial, I ended up going to a treatment centre. Well, I say a treatment centre. I went to go do a self-esteem workshop in America. And I got there, and it really wasn't a self-esteem workshop. It was a trauma workshop. And this trauma workshop was really, they listed all the different types of trauma, from emotional, physical, intellectual, spiritual, sexual. And as they're going through this workshop, I'm like, tick, 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 tick. And I could feel my body just getting so overwhelmed and so stressed by the experience. And that I myself started twitching, and I just couldn't believe that I'd been emotionally, physically, intellectually, spiritually and sexually abused from the age of 0 to 12 years old. And I didn't realize that those things that had happened were trauma, were abuse. And it was, in some level, it was really harrowing. But then on the other side of it, as everything, the yin and yang, is that there was actually, it had a really positive experience. It gave me a new lease of life. It explained everything to me, why I felt so bad about myself, why for years I didn't feel good enough, why I couldn't focus at school, my dyslexia, why we went into a women's refuge to seek refuge from my father, why some of my behaviours were unusual. It just opened my eyes in a new way, and I really felt God intervening in my life, and I felt like, again, this was another breakthrough. So if it hadn't been for that woman in that workshop who did become a role model, opened my eyes to this experience. When you have an experience like this, one can't just ignore it. I had to get help, and I did seek help, and I started learning mindfulness and seeing space between me and my reactions. I saw how held by God that I was. I started to believe in myself more. I slowly broke down the walls, and that inner voice that was perhaps too scared to walk down the street and feel like that I was being attacked was lessening. That inner voice of not feeling good enough was lessening. So I prayed, I went into treatment, I conquered, I started to overcome my anxieties. And I really felt it was these people in my life that believed in me, that gave me that opening, and were role models to me that enabled me to do that. I really felt like I was coming home. So from there, I felt my calling for justice. You know, what I'd been through, it's only opened my eyes to justice and what that means and how I can go out and help others. I really wanted to make a difference to other people's lives. So I set myself a goal of impacting 1 million people. And what I say with goals is, they say be specific, measurable, you know, the SMART goals. I really needed to be more specific because I actually got to write a book because I really wanted to share my experiences about how the tools that I've helped, that helped me, I wanted to pass on to many people. And I went on to Sky News and spoke to over 1 million people. So be more specific in your goal setting is what I would say. So I want to personally impact 1 million people in person. So yeah, I wrote a book, shared the story, shared the tools that have helped me. I feel very blessed. Again, that book wouldn't have come about if it wasn't for a female entrepreneur in my life. Like, she became the publisher. Well, she had a publishing company, and she nurtured me into making that, which led me on to speaking in quite a lot of settings that I perhaps wouldn't have been able to have done had I not been exposed to these women in my life. Whilst I was doing that, I was leading the Entrepreneurs Organisation in the UK, and then I achieved my dream after this whole experience was to study to be a barrister, and I got a scholarship to with the Right Honourable Inner Temple, and I managed to get through my bar course with a good mark despite being dyslexic. But I just found that the book wasn't enough. So I wanted to keep helping others. So I then set up a business, iCan Health. And now I'm teaching mindfulness weekly and having an impact weekly on people's outlook, hoping to be the role model that I've had in my life, in other people's lives. And obviously I said I'm a tax litigator. I just think God is just so good. The universe is so good. And I've really, I think Rosalia was talking about this, feeling really blessed for the experiences. But for me, why do I share my story?
I think we lost Hanneli. We'll wait a moment. I think she'll make her way back.
I can assure you this doesn't define you. Your limited beliefs don't define you. Your past does not define you. Your now defines you, and you have the power to change and steer your journey to where you want to go. So I've definitely had the people behind me, and I'd say the three things that I've seen a common theme in my role models and mentors, and hopefully in myself, is firstly that they instill belief in me. Secondly, they always speak up, and three, they're authentic. So looking at the belief one, I personally like why belief is just such a huge thing for me. You've seen it filter through. It's the core of being a role model. It's the core of being a mentor. Why is it so powerful? Because when we believe in others, it helps them to believe in themselves. And I've seen that throughout my story, with sport, with business, with my personal struggles. There's just been so many situations. Just a recent situation, my surrogate father, he basically sat down with me for 3 months, teaching me with so much compassion how to write. He diligently sat there going over my work with me, writing and pointing out things in which I can change. And he's every session, you know what, champ, you can do this. The fact that he calls me champ, you can do this, you can do this. And now I'm writing lengthy legal documents. So as leaders, we have to see visions and dreams of other people. And it really doesn't matter where they've come from. Worrying and negative thinking is like praying for things we don't want. So don't speak that over someone's lives. The second part about speaking up. You've heard a bit about my childhood, but quite frankly, with what's going on in the world at the moment with George Floyd, with obviously pandemic, women's rights, as role models, we need to speak up. And there's definitely a lot happening. And so this is quite simple. You just don't allow your company, your friends, your people in the street to be silent. As you might have seen last week, or this week, sorry, just gone, Republican, Rosalie, you're going to kill me because might not be saying this beautiful Spanish, Republican Ocasio-Cortez, who spoke out this week about the other Republican Yoho's sexist remarks. Her talk to Congress was amazing. And it's exactly that. It's not staying silent. The third and final trait that I see in my role models and my mentors is that they're authentic. We're seeing incredible business leaders around the world, in New Zealand and in Norway, in not Korea, I've forgotten anyway, it's gone for now. But we're seeing really authentic leadership. Rosalie, you're an authentic leader. We see it with Harbin and Vinay, and certainly I'm seeing it in leaders in my life that business leaders and role models, it is all about being authentic. It drives relationships, connections, and it creates long-lasting business. And definitely, I'd say to be a really authentic leader, it's a difficult thing, but it is really about knowing ourselves, that we're present to our experiences and being compassionate to those around us, accepting our limitations and sharing our vulnerabilities and taking time to really know ourselves, because when we know ourselves, we can show up in an authentic way, and how we carry ourselves will have an effect on our environment. So just in summary, when we believe in an individual, when we speak up and when we're authentic, they're the qualities of a role model and leader that will make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah-Lee. Thank you for that wonderful, honest, and I'd say like really authentic sharing. You know, it was so visceral that I was really moved, because you're an epitome of they say that the very emotion that breaks you is the one that actually ends up leading you. And in your case, it's a plurality of emotions. It wasn't the one. It was multiple, and it was was you having the vision to like look back and assess and grow and learn and be that leader and that role model that you've received. And I think this is the abundance, this is the thriving inside of you, that you decided to turn it on its head your entire life and share it, give it back. You know, we say that go getter, that's the mentality, but you're a go giver, you know, offering back everything that came to you through lessons, through, you know, some really hard times. So
yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate your honest sharing of your journey, and it's so very moving.
Thank you,
You're
Mansi.
who you are. Thank you, Hanali. You know, thank you.
No, thank you. Just to say, it was just for this conference. If ICANN Health are going to offer 30% off all of the mindfulness training that we offer. So if anybody is interested, use WEF 2020 so that they can come and, because we run online mindfulness training. So if you're interested, please contact me on www.ikanhealth.com.
Would you leave that
yeah.
in the chat, please?
Yeah, sure. On the website, not on here, because I think Rosalia kindly gave me her email, but I think she thought that was the chat for everybody. But if not, I'll put it there anyway.
No, but you know, we can pick it up from the chat and then circulate it. Yeah. But
Thank you.
Your website is listed in your profile anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But thank you for that generous offer. I'm sure we're going to reach out to you and do beautiful things together. Make this world happier, greener, cleaner, and, you know, just the way it needs to be. Just on the note, this is the very note we started on our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank
Great.
you.
Hanali, we have also a little award for you just to acknowledge your work. You are, on behalf of the All Ladies League, being recognized at the Digital Women Economic Forum, the very first edition, as an iconic woman creating a better world for all. Please accept this, Hanali Fish. We are proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
This is a award, and it's going to be in your mailbox soon.
Okay, thanks. That's so kind. It's really humbling to be recognized as that. So thank you.
Thank you so much for all that you do. Blessings from our hearts to yours, and may you stay healthy, happy, and spread the joy that you represent.
Thank you. Take care. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.